What up, though, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Daily Upside. I'm your host, Keenan Rivals. If you're new to the show, we talk about sports card investing every day. It's been a few days since I recorded a podcast. I kind of chilled out this weekend and then took off Martin Luther King Day as well. And man, in a few days, so much has changed in this space. It's been crazy. It's been a lot of conversation on Clubhouse. There's been so many new ideas introduced into the future of collecting, and we're going to get into all that over the next week. But yeah, today going to stick to one very small topic. We'll talk about a few things, but we're really focused on one very small topic. And yeah, we'll get into that. But for everybody who's new, I want to make sure that you head over to Twitter, shoot me a follow. That's where I'm going to be posting pretty much everything in real time. I do my best to update you guys on this podcast, but Twitter is really where you get my first initial thoughts. You can see I posted some of that Clubhouse information. I know a lot of you are looking to get into Clubhouse. I've been getting your DMs. You're like, yo, you got any more invites? Whenever I get them, I do send them out. I prioritize my Discord group, but I do try to get a few people on the app, and I've already got some big hitters there. So, expect to see some more conversations on Clubhouse and do your best to just get in. Gary's talking on there. Jeff's probably going to be on there very shortly. Sasha's on there now. We got some people in this space that we all kind of look up to and look into, and we're all going to be having those conversations on Clubhouse. So definitely get into that. um Before you DM me, as of today, no, I don't have any more invites. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram. That's just where I kind of post some of the plays, some successful plays. I asked you guys some questions. You'll see we had like this LeBron poll here, which we'll get into a little bit later. And yeah, just follow me on those two platforms. Let me know you're from the podcast, and I'll do my best to shoot you a follow back. I also need a huge favor from you guys. So today I'm going to be interviewing the CEO of Collectables app. If you haven't used Collectables yet, it's pretty much a fractional investing platform. They have an app, and they allow you to invest in some really serious cards at a low price point. Some of their cards are as cheap as $10, $20. And it's been something that I've been using for a while. A lot of my income has gone towards fractional invest, or I wouldn't say a lot of it, but I've been kind of balancing it out with a half and half. And I really do like the fractional investing platform. There are some things that I have questions about, which is why I'm interviewing the CEO. But I want to make sure you guys are represented as well. So if you have any questions that you want me to ask him, leave them down below. It could be about fractional investing. It can be about the Collectables app. It could be about anything, the future of investing. I just want to make sure we have a good, informative show, being that this is my first time interviewing somebody. So yeah, definitely help me out. Leave those questions down below, and I'll make sure they get answered. Last but not least, I do want to talk about NBA Top Shot. That has been all the rage over the last few days. Whenever I hosted a Clubhouse, everybody just kept talking about NBA Top Shot. I won't be getting into Top Shot too much today because I'm working on some content that's strictly for them. But I do want to let everybody know that at noon Eastern time, they are going to be dropping a new set of cards. There's 25,000 packs in total. They're $14. You get 5 moments in those packs, and you get one, kind of insert moment. So if you're looking to get into Top Shot, today might be a good day because these packs are going to pretty much fly off the shelf. If you want to talk more about it, hit me up offline. But these are going live at noon Eastern time for $14. Getting into some sports news, we all saw that Kevin Porter Jr. had an outburst with the Cavaliers. Apparently, he threw some food, and now he's just on the trading block. And not only is he on the trading block, but they're like willing to release him. This is a bad thing because I talked about Kevin Porter Jr. I think I had him in one of my star stock picks for his Mosaic rookie, and I picked up a lot of those. I still hold those. So on one hand, I'm really bummed out that Kevin Porter Jr., who was supposed to be the future of this franchise, is now kind of getting kicked to the curb. But at the same time, maturity is important, and if he doesn't have that, they can't have him acting out in that locker room. Everybody in that locker room is like 22 years old, so, they need everybody to be mature as possible. Otherwise, it's going to be a trickling effect. And yeah, it's kind of bummed out because on one hand, it's like, man, is Kevin Porter Jr.'s potential, over? Is he going to become Josh Jackson, or is he going to be released, go to a really good team, and ball out? So it's really risky. I still like him as a talent. I still think that he's worth the risk to a certain degree. If I see some prices drop on Kevin Porter Jr., I might grab some. I understand he's a hothead. I understand that he's J.R. Smith to a certain degree, but he's also super, super talented, and it might be worth the gamble. But yeah, really bummed out that he's not going to be with those young guys in Cleveland because that would have been a really, really good tandem. And I just love how Cleveland lets the young people play. So I was really banking on that. But yeah, so far things are looking pretty bad on Kevin Porter Jr. We also see here on Bleacher Report, Victor Oladipo had his debut yesterday. He absolutely bought out. Looking at Victor Oladipo as the potential quick flip in the top shot market, not so much the card market. You saw Steph Curry hit that 3-pointer yesterday. That was just insane. The Golden State Warriors are looking better. Wiseman is looking pretty good. Steph's putting up MVP type numbers. I'm not mad at them. Are they going to win or anything? Probably not, but they're going out there and they're competing every night. So I still think to a certain degree, Stephen Curry could be a long-term play. And I say that because we're just looking at these older cards and he just seems really, really undervalued to me. I saw this auction in yesterday. I was on Card Ladder and somebody paid 75,000 for this Skybox Premium Star Rubies. I know the Star Ruby set is pretty rare. I still have so much to learn about vintage. To me, Stephen Curry is vintage. And I'm like, he's really, really cheap. But when I look at these type of price points and I look at these super rare cards, it only makes me wonder, like, man, what Stephen Curry cards are going to be like this? Or what, LeBron James cards are going to be like this? Or what Giannis cards? Like, these aren't rookies. These are just rare parallels. So I'm thinking, like, let's do some research and figure that out as well. I think right now we're really sticking to rookies, but a Revolution Galactic or some type of super limited gold refractor, like these could be plays. And these cards are testaments of that. So for those of you who aren't looking on YouTube, this is a 1997-98 Skybox Premium Star Rubies of Michael Jordan. And yeah, it's a funky looking card, but it's really valued. And what I love about it is that it's a BGS 8. So it's showing me, like, man, in the future, these grades won't really matter on these rare cards. Like, people just want authenticated rare cards. So something to think about, when it comes to players like Michael Jordan and even Kobe Bryant. He also had a really high end sale. It was a 1998-99 Hoops Slam Bams, numbered to 100, BGS 8.5. I have no idea what Slam Bams is. I'm not familiar with the set. Definitely have to do some research on these older cards. But again, it sold $45,000. So these serial number cards of proven players of all-time players are going for an insane amount of money. And I'm looking at players like Stephen Curry, like, all right, he's breaking records. He's the best shooter of all time. He has the accolades. It might be a time to go back and look at some of these, 2012, very low serial number cards and maybe getting them in BGS 8 or BGS 8.5 because the grades don't really seem to matter, because the demand far outweighs that. So I just thought I'll mention that for you guys who are watching on YouTube and listening, that these could be some potential plays, and it might be smart to kind of remodel, the Kobe Jordan era with, LeBron and Stephen Curry. Speaking of Kobe Bryant, we also saw last night that one of his SP Authentic autographs sold. This was a PSA 10. It was from the 2003-2004 set from SP Signature, and it's over $10,000. So Kobe Bryant autographs are play. And again, I'm looking at these all-time players and kind of seeing what the trends are right now with these young guys with modern cards. We're going with the refractors, we're going with the silvers, and like those things are obviously going really well for Kobe. But it's these, like, random autograph sets that kind of do its thing as well. Obviously, Kobe's autograph is worth a lot more due to what happened. But, looking at Stephen Curry, looking at Giannis, can we get some good autographs for a cheap price point? Because 10, 20 years from now, they may be heavily sought after. Now, speaking of modern cards, I did also want to look at this 2015-16 Prism Silver of Nikola Jokic. It's over $4,150. I put this in my Upside auction newsletter, and I think I had the target price around 3,500. So this definitely crushed that, and it was a good sign. Modern cards are kind of taking a dip when you look at 2018-19, 2019-20, but it's good to see that some of the rare stuff like 2015-16, they're still moving up in price point. So it's not that Prism is whack or it's boring. It's just that it's kind of saturated right now. There's a lot of sellers and not too many buyers. So we just need that demand to kind of pick back up, and I think we'll see the market move back up. And another testament of that is this Trey Young. He had a 2018-19 Prism Red, and it sold for $8,100. For those of you who don't know, the red is numbered to 299. So yeah, PSA 10 sold for $8,100. So still a lot of money in modern cards. Trey Young's playing kind of meh. He has a great game, then he has a bad game. So it's good to see that he's still pulling some strong demand. And again, I think once the 2020, 21 sets come out, once we get some LaMelo Ball rookies, and especially once we get some graded LaMelo Ball rookies, we will see modern cards kind of pick back up because people will start chasing, people will start selling the LaMelo for profits to buy Luca, and it'll kind of reset itself. So definitely look out for those things. Now, one of the things I said we were going to talk about or focus on was the show was just like a small subject, and that small subject is a very big guy, and that's LeBron James. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, you remember this post. I said, what LeBron rookie do you think would be the next one to go mainstream? And I say that because everyone's talking about the alternative LeBron James rookie right now. Like there's Topps Chrome, yes, there's Exquisite, Ultimate Collection, SP Authentic, all those big ones. But like, what's next? What's that one that's undervalued? And I think we're looking into that because a lot of people are starting to get educated in the market now. Like they're starting to understand pop reports, they're understanding the sets, they're understanding the value. And it's just like, okay, we know we got Topps Chrome, we know we got Bowman Chrome, but are there some LeBron James rookie that are just stupid rare and underrated? And the answer is yes. There's some LeBron James that don't even have 100 PSA 10, and you can get those rookies for $3,000. So I listed a few here: UD Black Diamond, which got 28% of the vote. I think that's one that's not even 100 graded. Topps Pristine got 35% of the votes, and there's a lot of those between BGS and PSA. But it is a Chrome card. It's definitely lower pop than the Topps Chrome and things of that nature. Upper Deck Hardcourt didn't get too much love, but that one's numbered to 799. Still could be a play for some people. And then 30% said other. So in the comments, we got Sports Illustrated, we got Bowman Chrome. Somebody said it's NBA Top Shot, which I used to hold, and it was just a big topic of discussion. And one thing I noticed when I sent my newsletter out last night was that so many LeBron James cards ended, and a lot of the ones we talked about ended. So we can see here his 2003, 2004 Upper Deck Black Diamond sold for $2,130. If I'm not mistaken, that's a new all-time high. That was kind of trending around that $1,500 price point, and now we see it kind of going for 2,100. So a good sign for not only LeBron but BGS. A lot of BGS cards have been killed in terms of value, and we still see LeBron pushing up those price points. We also seen his Topps Pristine sell for $2,500. That was going for about $1,800. So in a matter of a few days, that card pushed up $700. Topps Pristine's obviously closing that gap between Bowman Chrome and Topps Chrome. So I think a lot of people kind of see that one as the next big alternative, and I think it's undervalued as well. But I'll have some more on that later. We had this SPX rookie auto sell for $26,000. For those of you who don't know, the SPX is a jersey autograph card numbered to 750. Back in 2003, 2004, this was like one of the cards to have. The SPX set was so beautiful. Everything from the base card, to the base Jordan, the base Kobe, to the LeBron. I remember trying to pull this card religiously, never happened. And I mean, I know it's $26,000, but I definitely say it's one of the underrated LeBron James rookie cards. Like compared to the SP Authentic, I feel like the SPX should just be just right up there. It was that popular back in the day, but I think that cutout signature is really what set it back long term. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if these kept trending up, in the near future. We also had a 2003, 2004 Exquisite Extra collection. I remember these like it was yesterday. People buying the Kobe, Paul Gasol, the Dirk. This one was the BGS 7.5, and I thought this was going to go for about 6,500. It went for $8,986. So I think this is like the highest this grade has ever gotten. And again, we're starting to see that BGS and grades, they don't really matter when you start getting into these rare cards. I mean, this is a LeBron jersey rookie number to 75. People are paying top dollar for that BGS 7.5. So just keep that in mind when it comes to some of the rare stuff. If you see a BGS 6 or a BGS 7 or a BGS 8, like it might be a play because I mean, it's only 75 of these things. And last but not least, we saw a 2003, 2004 Topps Chrome PSA 10 go for $28,800. So the top Chrome's card just shot up like 10,000 over the weekend, which is absolutely insane. But also at the same time, like it makes so much sense. This is one of the cards that everyone talked about in the clubhouse. And it was one of the things that I pointed out. I was like, what's the next best LeBron James card? And we all named these other cards. And I'm like, hey, in terms of ROI, it still might be the Topps Chrome. And over the last 4 days, that has proven to be true. Yes, these other LeBron James cards have jumped up, but none of them have jumped up to the magnitude that this one has. So super insane. I have the card ladder, kind of chart here if you want to look at that for those of you who are watching on YouTube. And it looks like the last one actually sold for $26,000. So they're just I don't know. People are talking about this card going to 100 grand, which I think is very possible. And yeah, I just don't think the card market is done, guys. I think it has so much more room to grow. I can't really speak on modern cards and Luca and things of that nature. But when it comes to LeBron James, I think the sky is the limit. Another thing that was kind of brought up in Clubhouse by Gary was, how undervalued Dwayne Wade's cards were. And, since that has been talked about, we've now seen a huge push in his cards as well. When you talk about documentaries, LeBron James, like Dwayne Wade's going to be there, and he's not going to be like the Scottie Pippen. Like he's his own great player. And yeah, just a lot of news coming out between LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe, Dwayne Wade, vintage, NBA Top Shot. Like there's so many different elements to this space now. Fractional investing, all which seems in a matter of months. So yeah, I'm really excited to be covering it. I'm going to be doing a lot of research on like vintage stuff. I'm going to be doing a lot of hacking on 2003, 2004 products to kind of find out what are these alternative spaces. And I'll be sending it out to you guys all week as I build this information. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this podcast. Don't forget to leave your question for Ezra, the CEO of Collectables, down below. Before we end this, I do want to remind everybody to hit up highupsideshow.com so you can kind of get this information in your newsletter every day. I'm sure a lot of you would have wanted a list of those LeBron cards that were ending last night. So yeah, highupsideshow.com, tap in. It's a free daily newsletter. And yeah, that's it for me, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Happy investing.